Welcome back and hello if you are new, so thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. Full disclosure on this, I used to really be fervently against Code Orange. I thought that the band were media darlings without any real substance and really couldn't quite get behind the hype that surrounded this band. Now the band are beginning their next chapter and I can confidently say that Code Orange are one of the most important bands in 2020 with their masterpiece that is Underneath. On previous release Forever, Code Orange had begun to explore the idea of the makeup of a song and also a meld of particular influences. Underneath goes deeper to explore this idea even further and somehow has created a composite of anything from grunge, hip-hop, electronica and industrial, and of course it's all tied together by hardcore. However, it never sounds contrived and instead actually sounds like a symbiosis of all of these little genres put together. The ferocity of Code Orange has always been kind of a bit of their calling card, let's say, and this hasn't dulled one iota on Underneath. For example, you've got You and You Alone, which borderline sounds like death metal severe torture fed through the Matrix and then breaking down at the same time. But then you've got the glitch heavy In Fear and the scratchy Erasure Scan. Last Ones Left also follows this kind of militant drum beat that the band have been previously working together and would probably be, I would say, one of the closest sounds that you would get to Forever, for example. Both singers, Reba and Jamie, however, have come together to create a real sense of duality on this record. Jamie's vocals are very much obstinate, belligerent, and incredibly dominating, whereas Reba's vocals are far more insidious and really kind of get into your head, but her voice is able to create these grunge anthems that are the likes of Sulphur Surrounding and The Easy Way, which will no doubt be huge, huge songs live. Her vocals remind me of almost a combination of Garbage is quite grunge outlook, but with a sense of Alice in Chains in there as well. And particularly nearing the end on Autumn and Carbine and A Sliver, before we reach that triumphant ending on Underneath, the title track. Without a doubt though, for me, the man of the match is definitely electronics on this record. And although there are kind of standout moments similar to what they had on Forever, let's say, electronics, I think, really are omnipresent throughout the entire listen of Underneath. Shade, the band's programmer, was able to work with renowned Nine Inch Nails programmer Chris Verena to essentially change his Ableton projects, as they're called, to create these massive, daunting pieces of sound that really kind of do take center stage at some points in the record. I have to thank Kerrang's interview for that because I didn't know that otherwise. It ranges from skips, oscillations, glitches, high frequency changes, a composite of sounds all being put together, really to create quite a claustrophobic and tense sound that really heightens the idea of this sense of vulnerability of the listen, I think. Ironically though, despite the clearly militant attention to detail, never does the album feel, very robotic, and instead flows incredibly organically. Nick Raskulinski's, I have no idea how to pronounce his name, his production is absolutely another string to Code Orange's ever-growing bow, because the way that the sounds are manipulated and the fact that it pans between the two headphones feels like you're literally like in that room or in that weird dark place with Code Orange. Though for me, I think the real clincher of Underneath lies in the idea of repurposing the tracks. It alters the direction of what you had presumed the melody would go into and completely flips the song on its head, such as Cold Metal Place, where midway through the song it just kind of just dissolves really. And then on Who I Am, there's another section where, given these glitches, You're able to kind of like cram a drum solo in there, but it never feels forced or contrived. Underneath, importantly though, highlights Code Orange's ability to create a really killer song and leave all that kind of trickery behind, because there are moments on here where it is just, you know, simple band stuff and they write a killer chorus. Though I think what I loved the most about this album is that you can really feel yourself being pulled down into this dark, nebulous void. You are in Code Orange's domain. And I think the fact that the listener really does kind of relinquish any control, because you never really know what's happening. You don't really understand where songs are going, so you don't have that control that a listener would normally have of kind of guessing where the band are going to go. And it heightens that sense of dominance that Code Orange have, a phenomenon I don't think that happens very often in music. Believe the hype. Code Orange have created an album that is not only timeless, but has certainly leveled them up to genre boundary breaking pioneers that I should have known they were. And this is coming from a dude who hated the band. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure to check out all my other videos. This is probably one of my favorite albums to review. I love how much depth it had to it. And leave a comment, let me know what you think. All right, I will see you guys next week for another album review. Take care.